くぞジェノサイカッター
Hello everyone, what's happening? This is Forgo, and today we're going to talk about Hell's Dungeon and the requirements that you're going to need for the future tiers of this game mode. Because, you know, up until this point, I pretty much have been winging it, and I know a lot of you have as well, because we really didn't know the requirements when we get to the boss stage. But luckily, and shout out to Star Tiger for posting this up in the Discord, but there is a list up until at least tier 50 of all the requirements that you need up until tier 50. Now, 51 to 60, I don't have that yet, but up until tier 50, you can prepare certain characters for these game modes, because it's not always going to be all yellow or all blue or all purple. You're going to eventually need all purple attack, all red balance, and so on and so on. So let's take a look at that Google Sheet. So this is really freaking cool. You actually have 5 stages, and then you have the boss, and they tell you exactly what you need. So in tier 1 of Hell's Dungeon, you only need purple fighters. It doesn't matter their attack, defense. It doesn't matter what type they are, as long as they're purple. And it shows the other requirements. It shows the clear rewards. It shows the skip reward, which is freaking great. You know, you got the you got the tier 2, you know, you'll need all blue, you'll need all red, all green for tier 4, all yellow for tier 5, for tier 6 purple, for tier 7 blue, and so on and so on. A really simple chart to read. I really love it. And here at the top, you got tier 1 to 10, tier 11 to 20, 21 to 30, 31 to 40, 41 to 50. And again, it doesn't go up to 60, unfortunately. But going up to 50 is really going to give all of you a heads up as to which characters you need to build. So tier 11 to 20, you can see we need all yellow here for tier 11, all green for tier 12, all red for 13, and so on and so on and so on. See, the rewards are getting bumped up as we go. All right. And then tier 20, you're going to need all purple. So far, so good. We don't need any certain types. We just need certain colors. That's really it. So it's not so bad up until this point. Now from 21, here we go, 21, you need all purple, all yellow, all green, all red. Now here's where it starts getting a little wacky. So at tier 25, you need all attack. It doesn't matter what color they are, but you will need all attack. And I can't remember in tier 25 if there's a certain element color. I don't think there is. I don't think the boss has an elemental color, so I don't think it really matters what color attack you bring in here, to be perfectly honest, if I remember correctly. Then you see all purple, all defense. I mean, it gets harder and harder. So more than likely, for these kinds of stages, the attack, the defense, you're going to have characters. I mean, you're going to build 15 characters for Hell's Dungeon. You have 5 different colors, 3 different characters for each color. That's 15 characters. So more than likely, you're going to have 3 defensive. More than likely, you're going to have 3 attack, and so on and so on. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Okay. And then you have all defensive here. So it's really not too bad yet, because you still just need all certain color or all certain type. But it gets more complicated as we go. So 31 to 40, now you need all balance type. And it's going to start getting rough in the tier 30s, because now these characters are going to have elemental advantages. And I really wish that would have been something they would have put in here, but they didn't. But maybe the boss is a yellow fighter, which means you're going to need a green fighters to have the advantage. You know, if there's certain colors, you know, if they're a red fighter, you're going to need a blue to beat them. If the boss is a green, you're going to need red to beat them, and so on and so on. And I wish they would have put that in here, but they didn't. But still, it gives you a good idea of what you need to build. So for tier 31, you need a balance type. 32, you need all defense, all attack. It's not getting too complicated yet, because you still only need, it doesn't matter what color you have, unless they have a disadvantage, unless the color is a disadvantage to the color of the world of the boss. And you have balance here, and defensive here, and attack. So it gets pretty wacky from tier 31 to tier 39, because you're going to need all a certain type, but it won't matter what color they are. Now, let's check out tier 41 to 50, because this is really where it gets crazy. So at tier 41, check this out. Now you need purple attack fighters. You know, characters like Lady Yashiro, Ignis, Genjuro, these kinds of characters are going to be freaking amazing for this. And you can't use any other color and you can't use any other type. So they have to be attack and they have to be purple. So it really makes it super, super difficult. So you definitely want to be building. And see, the thing is, some of the stage prior to all this, you need all attack, right? Or you need all defense, or you need all balance. You want to build 3 purple attacks, definitely, right? You want to build 3 red balance types, definitely, okay? Because that's going to be a requirement in the future. And you want to be able to build 3 yellow attacks right here. And then you have blue defense. So you want to build 3 blue defensive fighters. And then 3 green defensive fighters. So when you're building your characters, you want to make sure that you have, 3 green defensive, 3 blue defensive, 3 yellow attack, 3 red balance, and 3 purple attack. Again, I really wish they would have put the color of the boss, if there is a color, because there are some bosses in Hell's Dungeon that have a certain color. So if you build 3 attack type fighters that are purple, if you build 3 that are red balance types, if you build 3 that are yellow attack, 3 that are blue defensive, and 3 that are green defensive, you're going to have your teams. Those are going to be your teams that you can use for all the purple, for the purple team. If it doesn't matter if you have 3 purple attacks, they're still going to be able to fill those requirements. If you have 3 red characters that are balance type fighters, then you're going to fill them. So for example, we scroll back here, go to 31 to 40, right? You need all balance type fighter right here, right? Well, if you have the red balance team that you're going to need for the next tier up, right? For tier 43, if you already have them built, you're going to be able to do this game mode here, unless there is a color disadvantage, which there won't be. I can tell you that right now because I just cleared 35, and I had to actually red did have the advantage. I mean, if you build an all blue defensive team, you're going to have that team already set up for your final requirement, right? You'll have your blue defensives and so on and so on. So really what I would focus on is building 3 purple attack characters, 3 red balance, 3 yellow attack, 3 blue defensive, and 3 green defensive fighters. Those are all the 5 colors that you need, and you can use them. Any stage that has all balance type, you can use your red balance team. Any stage that has all attack type, you can use these yellow attacks. Any team that has all defensive requirement, you can use this blue defensive team. So I really think if you just built a team centered around these last requirements, you'll be all right. Unfortunately, I don't know from tier 51 to tier 60 what you need, but up until tier 50, this will do you really, really well, which is pretty cool that we actually had. I wish I'd have had this from the very beginning. Let's take a look at the characters that you could build. Okay, so let's get out of here. Go into our fighters. Okay, so we need 3 purple attack type fighters. Okay, so we want to find the purple. Let me turn this on cost. Here we go. And here we go. Ignis is going to be freaking insane because he's a damage dealing monster. Baseball Vanessa is going to be awesome for this. And now Maxima is going to be freaking insane for that, for your purple attack. And even Rio here has an amazing leadership. You could even use him. He also has native super armor. He would be a really good character, a good leadership for them. I'm not going to go through every single character. Genjuro obviously would be awesome as well. And then you have red balance type. I think Keel would be freaking insane for this. I actually use Keel. You can see mine's a level 30, 3-star. Then you have Pretty Clone. She would be excellent for this. She's a combo machine. She does have native super armor, so she's going to plow through this really well. You can even use Elizabeth here, who is a completely free character. You have Chrysalit here. He'll actually put in work for you as well. So they give you have And this character was completely for free, which is awesome if you were playing during the time of the Gintama event. Then you need yellow attack type, right? So yellow attack, obviously Pretty Zero is going to be way up in the top of the list. She's insane. Iori's going to be at top of the list. He's freaking insane. But there's only two Fest characters that are yellow attack types. And you don't have to use Fest. You don't have to use them. Although when you get in them higher stages, it's going to be really difficult if you don't have them, to be perfectly honest. I believe, let's see. Mei Li would be another really good yellow one here. If I can find her. The yellow attack anyways. Yeah, Mei Li here because she actually has a good leadership. Actually, Iori would buff. His leadership would actually buff her and Pretty Zero and himself. Because his leadership is increase attack type fighters attack by 60%. That's pretty sweet. That's pretty sweet. Then you need to develop 3 blue defensive fighters. So the blue defensive is really going to be hard. That's going to be a very difficult one to fill. I mean, you have Pretty Brian here, which would be excellent. Yashio really isn't that good in the dungeon, man, because he does all them grab skills. He's not a character I'd really recommend. Plus, the feedback that I get about him just isn't very positive. Leona is going to be insane for this thing. Anybody that has Gintoki here, he'll be really good as well for this. He's going to be a really great character because he actually has super armor and he can plow through it. And I'm just throwing out some ideas of some characters that you could build. I mean, obviously, if you have Blue Jin, he'll be really good. But a lot of people, unfortunately, don't have him. Baseball Shermie, she'll be, or I'm sorry, Halloween year Shermie, she probably would do some good work for you. I mean, there's all kinds. You got Shizuru here. There's all kinds of characters that you could use. They don't have to be Fest, but it does help if they are. Now we need yellow defensive fighters. So as far as yellow defensive, Psyche is going to be freaking amazing for this. He has a great leadership for them. Increase yellow element fighters attack active skill by 60% and decrease attack cooldowns by 2 seconds. Freaking insane leadership for yellow fighters. And then we need another yellow defensive fighter. So I'm going to scroll down here a little bit. And you see he's the only Fest character. Look at that. The only Fest character that is a defensive fighter. Yellow defensive. That's crazy. Okay. Oh, my mouse is kind of going crazy there. I'm going to scroll up here. Come on. Slowpoke. Let's go. Okay. So yellow defensive fighter. Scroll down here and you can see this is really what's going to kill a lot of people. Look at this. There just isn't a lot really here to offer anybody, which sucks. And that's at tier 50. Wow. So they're probably going to be introducing a character that will be able to be used for this. Here we go. You got Athena here. You could probably use her. I mean, it looks like, there's just, yeah, you're going to have to go to the gold border characters if you really want to use the yellow defensive fighters. You have Shermie here. Baseball Shermie actually would be really good for this because she actually does have super armor. Although she does do a grab, but it's only on 1 skill. So she would actually be really good for this event. Quality character for this. And yeah, there just isn't a lot to offer us. There just really isn't a lot of yellow defensive fighters. I probably missed one. You got Billy here. But those are some characters that you could try out, maybe work on building so you can get through Hell's Dungeon. And again, I don't know, like from tier, from tier 37 on, like if the boss will have a color disadvantage. I don't know. I know in tier 35, the boss was a yellow fighter, which means I needed a green fighter to have the advantage. You don't have to have, like there's certain stages where you don't have to have a green fighter, but in the last stages, you're going to have a certain color of a certain type. So hopefully this will help some of you out. I'll put the link I'll put the Google Sheets and the link in the description below so you guys can click on it and prepare for Hell's Dungeon. So So let me know what characters you've gotten, what cards you've gotten, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one.